Packet Pushers went to AutoCon Zero in November 2023 and asked 10 IT professionals if you could tell network equipment vendors one thing related to automation, what would it be?
Learn how to write an API better. Implement Yang NetConf, and I would love to say do OpenConfig and stop trying to push your secret sauce so much that you've killed off the ability to have standardized models and things like that.
One thing I would tell vendors is, at the end of the day, I'm a multi-vendor shop. I got to support 4 or 5 different platforms. I can't have 4 or 5 different platforms from vendor A, B, and C that all do the secret sauce automation, but it has to be their stack. I'm only using a component of it. I need a way of interacting with devices that can be done, with relatively low friction.
I would say make your operating systems more accessible, and if possible, containerize them. Because, for example, let's say if I have a refresh coming up or I have a new part of my network I want to build out, if I can easily grab your operating system without having to get on a phone call or sign some contract, if I can grab your network operating system, load it up in my lab, test out what I want, a proof of concept with 2 or 3 vendors, now I can go to my management and say, oh, I want to go with this vendor, and now we can make a purchase order with this vendor. So, and on top of that, I could also automate those before I even start worrying about buying physical gear. So if all vendors could make their operating systems more accessible and potentially containerized so they're more less resource intensive, that would be great.
It would be lead, follow, or get out of the way. The industry is evolving, right? Some vendors, like Juniper, have been a API first type company, so it's a lot easier for us to make the transition. Other vendors have not. Some of those vendors kind of look at it as a threat to their incumbency to open things up, so you don't see them embracing that. So my thing is, if you're not going to be part of the leaders, then get behind the movement and watch when people are ready to embrace it, support them in that evolution. And if that doesn't work for you, just move out to the side and don't impede progress.
Quit making it hard. Every time I have to go check out a license key or sign into some portal to get access to this or that, it's another opportunity for me to go somewhere else. Just make it easy for me to work with your product and pay you money.
Give us well-defined, well-tested APIs so that we can move forward with automation.
I think they need to make it easier and more consistent across their platforms so that we don't have to kind of reverse engineer what their APIs are, and also perhaps cooperate with their competition so that we don't have to figure out each vendor's implementation of it. I know these vendors want us to buy all their stuff because that's what they like, they're selling, and good for them. But that, in reality, that's really not the case. And so we have a lot of vendors that we need to automate. And wouldn't it be great if it was just an API, a common API between them all, and that we can just digest that way. So I think if there's any way that they could cooperate more in that world, I think it'd be really helpful.
We all need to get along. Proprietary domains are becoming obsolete because automation is happening. If you have APIs, your data is now going to be used programmatically, not necessarily in your interface.
I bring it back to the model. I'd bring it back to whatever the transport and application is and unifying that across the vendors. I realize that's like asking countries to not have war with each other, but as an operator and as someone who both has to write automation and use platforms and try to solve real problems for an organization, I need all of you to play nice because I don't have a one vendor network. I have a multi-vendor network. So play nice.
I would say make it consumable. So I think I answered that. So make it easy, low footprint, and consumable for many people to exercise it and play with it and try to see which tooling they need to have in order to solve their problem for their specific environment.